What's up guys, MissPass here back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and I have been super busy last couple weeks and haven't had any time to make any videos, but I get to come back with an awesome one. Sith Trooper, Sith Assassin, and Darth Nihilus events are going on for the next few days, and Sith Trooper was today. I unlocked him, wasted a bunch of credits, leveled him up to 85, but his abilities are way awesome, guys. His basic attack is Disruptor Blast, and it deals physical damage to a target enemy with a 70% chance to inflict defense down for 3 turns, which is pretty cool, pretty in line with most of the new characters they've introduced have 70% chance, but the Omega on that is awesome because it causes the attack to ignore protection. His AoE also ignores protection. It's called Crimson Barrage, and it deals physical damage to all enemies with a 70% chance to inflict offense down for 2 turns. This attack also ignores protection, and he gains protection up equal to 5% for each debuffed enemy for 2 turns with the Omega. This guy's Omegas are awesome. Like, they're legit. They're pretty awesome. I love this guy's Omegas. And his unique ability is Viking's Legacy. Sith Trooper has a plus 100% defense. Whenever a Sith ally uses a special ability or falls below 50% health, Sith Trooper gains defense up for 2 turns. If he already had defense up, he gains taunt for 2 turns. If he already had taunt, he gains retribution for 2 turns. The Omega on this, equally as awesome as the first 2, gain defense up for 2 turns at the start of each encounter. Now, I didn't have a whole lot of gear to throw at this guy, not even enough to get him up to gear 8, so that was a little depressing, disappointing. I was really hoping to get him at least to gear 8 to show you guys what his stats were at gear 8 before you need to start giving him raid gear. Now, I am going to show my playthrough of the Lord of Hunger Marquee event, which is how these characters are being introduced. I'm sure a lot of you have read the notes, the developer notes, and or seen the announcement in-game that tournaments are done, indefinitely done, until further notice. They are going to be doing an in-depth analysis of the tournament system to determine where they may be able to improve the system. I'm not holding my breath. I'm secretly crossing my fingers, hoping that they never bring them back. I hated tournaments, hated them. I'm glad they're dead. Now, I did have a little bit of fun. I know that I didn't use any Sith on my first stage here, but I was just wanting to have fun. I had my Krennic and Death Trooper still at gear 7, only level 70, because after I found out how much the Citadel pack cost, not interested. Not interested at all in leveling them up much, although I have seen people successfully running gear maxed, well, gear 10, gear 11, Krennic and Death Trooper at 4 and 3 stars in arenas and actually doing really well, like placing in the top 10, if not top 3. So that may be something that I decide to do in the future. If anything, hey, I've got them up to gear 7, I can always level them up if I feel like it. But that aside, I wanted to have a little bit of fun, and I didn't really want to just blast through the event, you know. I actually wanted to kind of have a little bit of fun and actually get a chance to use the Sith Trooper more than just once. So I think that EA did a lot better job this time with this event of actually tuning the assisted character, the forced ally that you have to select, actually to each tier. In the previous engagements, they would show that they were like gear 8, gear 9, gear 10, gear 11, when in actuality their stats were at gear 1. Those characters were not gear maxed, even though they visually appeared as though they were gear maxed. This is something that I have actually been told by the developers. They were not gear maxed characters. So anytime when the Death Trooper and the Director Krennic events happened, those characters were not gear maxed. Even though they appeared gear maxed, they were not gear maxed. The K2SO event for all of you Android players, they had artificially increased K2SO's damage, which is why a lot of us, once we unlocked K2SO, when we started using him, we were like, why does he hit like a wet noodle during the event? He was getting crits of like 12 and 13,000. What's going on? So Then they kind of scaled it back too far with the Director Krennic and Death Trooper events, and then with this one, I think they kind of hit the nail on the head. The characters that you will notice are actually doing more damage with each gear, which is basically what we want to see. We want to see what the character does and how the character behaves and what kind of damage the character does appropriately with the gear levels and ability levels that you would expect from the levels that you're, the characters that you're borrowing. So I think they hit it out of the park with this marquee event. The borrowed hero, Sith Trooper, really was impressive. I had a lot of fun with this event, and I think I had more fun with this event than I did with the Director Krennic and the Death Trooper events, by and large. Not just because I was using, lower level, lower gear tier level characters that, actually gave me an opportunity to kind of get a feel for how the characters interacted. I kind of actually got to play with Director Krennic and Death Trooper, so that was fun. And my new Kylo Ren, which you guys can obviously tell I have not put any significant effort into Kylo since the update. Kylo doesn't do it for me. I'm not that enthusiastic about Kylo. I think that they did a good job with his kit. I like the fact that his second ability actually has a stun now, so he's actually a little bit more utility. And I'll talk a little bit more about Kylo some other time, because there are some cool things and cool tactics for Kylo, but that's for another discussion. One thing that I will point out, though, is that abilities that trigger off of health percentages, so for instance Kylo's overpower or outrage, I think that ability is called, I don't know, forget, but it does X amount of additional damage if he's under 100% health. Well, it doesn't matter what his protection's at, it's if he's under 100% health. So if you use, say, a Barisafi equalizing health ability, and he has a health immunity, or healing immunity buff, or negative status effect on him, and he doesn't get the additional 15% heal, if he's under 100% health, he's doing additional damage, even if he has all of his protection. So if you use Emperor Palpatine's little health steal that gives him health up, it steals health, but it doesn't take protection, you can get Kylo Ren doing all of his bonus damage. Now, this third tier, I'm going to jump completely onto actually what I'm doing in game here. I actually did pull out the Sith. Now, the Sith rework that they just did, amazing, guys. Holy cow. I don't even know I don't even know how to describe this. It's awesome. They turned Count Dooku into a monster. He is so awesome now. Count Dooku was my first Gear 9, Gear 10 character. He was not my first 7-star. Darth Sidious was my first 7-star. As I'm sure a lot of you, shall I say vanilla Galaxy of Heroes players will remember, Darth Sidious, back when the level cap was 60, was a monster. Everybody ran him as their squad leader. He was awesome. He was great in arenas. He was just a wicked beast. He is almost returned to his former glory. His basic attack now on enemies that have debuffs with Omegas, his basic now ignores armor, ignores defense. It's awesome. So it does a heck of a lot more damage. And if you're running him behind Zader, or hell, even just regular Darth Vader, he's getting that offense up. I have seen him, if he does have an offense up buff, he will do a lot of damage, guys. I mean, you're seeing him get 7k crits there, and that's ignoring defense, so, I mean, that has no bearing. And then his AoE expose, yeah, thanks, I'll take it. It's awesome. He's a lot of fun now, and if you use a Zeta on his unique to increase his health and his potency, he's definitely a top contender for my next Zeta ability with his recent rework. So I think that has been a killer, a great improvement in my opinion. Count Dooku, his rework is equally as awesome. All of his abilities kind of got tweaked a tiny bit. His basic now has a reduced chance, but he now will inflict ability block or stun or both on any character with a double chance to inflict it on Jedi. So it's a higher chance against Jedi, but now it's a slightly reduced chance to affect anyone, which is really cool. And his special attack now inflicts shock, which kind of seems self-explanatory since it's friggin' lightning. And wasn't he in the Apprentice to, oh yeah, Emperor friggin' Palpatine? So, I mean, before he got decapitated, that is. And Palpatine was Darth Sidious, so it's kind of, I don't know, same person, just different time periods. But yeah, I mean, come on. It seemed pretty self-explanatory to give him shock on his special attack. So, that was cool. I really like it because, I mean, shock is awesome. It's probably one of the coolest debuffs in the game, honestly. On top of all of this, Sith Trooper, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I was a little underwhelmed with his kit when I first saw it, you know? I was like, yeah, I don't know, he doesn't really seem that awesome to me. But I can honestly tell you guys, since seeing him in action, I'm thoroughly impressed, which is why I was willing to spend, what, like 8 million credits to level him from 1 to 85, just so that I could freaking level his abilities. He's awesome, guys. I am thoroughly impressed. His taunting technique is very unique. It's very awesome. The fact that he can start out an engagement with defense up means that the very first Sith that attacks is gonna give him taunt. So, two very fast Sith, Count Dooku and Emperor, sorry, I keep calling Darth Sidious Emperor Palpatine. Darth Sidious and Count Dooku being two of the fastest Sith in the game, which Count Dooku is arguably one of the fastest characters in the game. I mean, pre-mods, if you were running Count Dooku, he almost always went first. So Count Dooku, you can easily, if you've got really good mods, better than mine, you can easily get Count Dooku up probably even faster than TIE Fighter Pilot, if you really tried. So that's pretty awesome. Count Dooku will use his Force Lightning, stun, shock 1 or 2 targets, and then your Sith Trooper gains taunt. So I think Sith Trooper definitely has some really awesome toolset and abilities, and I'm excited to gear him up, throw him in on my Sith team, because Zader with Sith Trooper, Dooku, Zeta, Darth Sidious, it's just the Sith are coming into their own, and soon will rule the galaxy of heroes. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, favorite, subscribe. Check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and join my Discord server, guys. Take it easy.